I'm going to show you how to remove Moiré in Lightroom. That took me like 4 takes to get that right. First, let me show you what Moiré is. Moiré shows up especially in cameras that don't have an anti-aliasing filter like this Sony a7R Mark II, but it can show up in any camera, and it shows up generally in tightly knit patterns like screens or bricks or fabrics like this. So it's kind of the bane of a wedding photographer's existence. You can imagine if you had 100 pictures and they all had weird colors like this, you'd be pretty upset. You can see down here, his pants are actually gray, but we're getting all these weird like purples and greens and stuff in here, and it's just caused because the filter, the camera sensor has this red, blue, green Bear filter on it, and these tight patterns just kind of confuse it. Fortunately, Lightroom makes it pretty easy to fix it using an adjustment brush. And I think this is the easiest way to fix it. I'm in the develop module here, and I'll just create an adjustment brush here, and let's just size this to a reasonable size. And you can see down here at the bottom, we have Moiré, and it's misnamed. You can see defringe. If you crank it to the right, it reduces fringe. Moiré, if you crank it to the right, it does not increase Moiré, it decreases Moiré. So it works backwards. But usually what I'll do is I'll paint over a section of it here. You can see I had the contrast. So let's reset all the settings and reset the exposure. And so now I'm going to just increase the Moiré slider here. And as I do that, you can see the Moiré disappears. It goes from being weird colors to just being nice and neutral and gray. And I don't want to crank the Moiré all the way up to 100. That would be easy, but it would also result in a little too much desaturation of colors, and it might remove some colors that should be there. So instead, I'm just going to carefully bring it up to the point where it's perfect. So let me just make sure I'm completely painted over on these things. Okay, so that 59 setting works pretty good for his pants here. And so now I'm just going to go through and just paint over all the parts where I see this ugly Moiré until it's absolutely perfect. So this is a really good trick to have because nowadays more and more cameras have are shipped without anti-aliasing filters on them. Just about all Sony and Nikon Pro cameras have the AA filters off of them. So we're going to start to see more and more cases of Moiré in our shots, and being able to fix it quickly and easily is a good idea. Just so you can see, this is kind of where his pants intersect her leg, and by removing the Moiré there, it did add a little bit of weirdness. So you can always go back and kind of carefully adjust your mask. So over there, I overpainted with the mask. To remove this, I'm going to hold down the Alt or Opt key, and that switches this to a subtraction brush. And so now what I can do is just go in and remove the extra part of the mask where I oversprayed onto her leg just to make it a little more perfect. So Moiré has not been a huge problem for us over the years, even when we switched from cameras with AA filters like the Canon cameras to cameras without AA filters like the Nikon D850. We've shot more than 100,000 pictures, and I can only find a couple of examples just to show you how to remove it. But nonetheless, it does pop up, especially if you're shooting fashion or weddings. You'll see it regularly, and so it's nice to be able to remove it pretty quickly. I hope this helps you get through your workflow a little bit faster so you can get back out there and shoot more. Thanks.